G'day everyone, Raid0AU and welcome back to another episode of Empyrion Galactic Survival in Alpha 6. This is episode number 8. And I'm going to be working on the base today. About time we started to get some of this sorted out. So first thing I want to do is I just want to build out that back room. So what I did was off camera, the comm center is no more. I have demolished it and grabbed all the stuff from it. So a whole lot of steel plates. We've got some hardened steel plate. We've got lots more hardened steel plate in here. And at the very top of that, there was actually a hidden rare container. Now, basically, it gave me some stuff, not a huge amount. It gave me things like a warp drive. Did give me a repair bay for a capital vessel, fuel tank, things like that. Plasma turret for the HV. So might actually be worth putting that in. Let's have a look. I know we've hit level 10 now, so just have a look at our tools. Level 10, we need 14 to be able to make the tier 2 multi-tool. I'll unlock those lights because sometimes they're useful just for recording purposes. Let's have a look in here. Anything I want to unlock at the moment? Probably the large fuel pack would be worth unlocking, and a hydrogen generator. Large ammo box? Yeah, why not? Let's do it. Weapons. Projectile pistol, tier 2. We definitely want that. And we can unlock the pulse rifle. We can't make it yet because we need some... Oh, we might be able to. We need Erystrum and Zascosium. I know I've got some Erystrum, but I don't know if I've got Zascosium. So, and you need that for the power coils. The other thing we want to start doing is looking at the small vessel because we're going to want to head up into space before too long. Just having a look to see what we've got here. We need the landing gear. We've got 7 points left. We've got the Gatling gun, we've got the rocket launcher. So we haven't got the rocket launcher yet. Can't quite unlock that yet. But we've got stuff there that we can start to think about that. Alright. And the other one we were going to look at, which I probably don't have enough. Yeah, plasma turret's level 15, so we can't make any ammo for that. So there's no point unlocking it. There's no point installing that one that we looted because I can't make any ammo for it. So what's the point? Alright, good. So in here I've had this queued up with a whole lot of steel blocks. And I've also got some small steel blocks going to be made after that, so that we can start looking at the small vessel. Jetpack on. So first thing we want to do, this building here, the original building, is going to be the entrance. That's the plan anyway. So, and I believe that's 7 wide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, so 1, 2, 3. So we need to, I'm just going to break that block out, just there. Yeah, I thought it was behind that. So we can't access it yet because we've got all that stuff in there. But that's going to be the entranceway through. So the next thing I'm going to do is, let's see. Just going to run this across. It's going to have a gap in there because I'm standing there. And how many is this? Oh, come on. Get a bit closer. 1, 2. So it's 11. So see if I can't count this out right. 1, 2. That's the center there. Alright. Okay. And what I'm going to do is put a block in the center, right smack in the center, and that'll be important. Now, before we go any further, I noticed in the comments somebody was asking, I can't remember who it was, I apologise, but somebody was asking, how do you build unconnected structures to it? Like, what you need to do is you need to hold down the N key. So the N key when you're building is, we have various, I'll go through these tools with you. Basically, we've got various building tools here. We can show centre of mass, that's more to do with when you're building vessels. Just to see where the centre of mass is. Structural integrity is a big one. Only on bases at this stage, but it will be on everything, I'd imagine, eventually. And you'll see here that basically everything here is a bright green, and that's because it's connected to the ground. You'll see there, that is a darker green, because it's not connected anymore in that direction. So it will show as a different colour, and it slowly goes from bright green through to red and then eventually collapses. So let's maybe do a bit of an example here. I'm willing to waste just a couple of blocks or a few blocks to do it. Alright, so we've got one there, it's bright green. As we start adding, you'll notice the colour's changing. And I believe it's, let's see, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See how many we can go to. 8, 9, 10. See, it's starting to get red. 10, 11. I believe it's 13. 12. So it's okay like that. It's getting pretty red now. 13. There you go. Bang. And you lose it. So you can go 13, yeah, you can go 12 with no problem. Put that 13th one there and bang, it's gone. So I generally stick around the 10 mark if I have to. Obviously the greener you've got everything, the better. But I normally stick to around the 10 mark. Alright. So I lost a few blocks there, but as I said, not too bothered by it, because it was all for demonstration purposes. Okay, what's the next thing we want to show? Next thing would be probably symmetries. So we've got our symmetry tools here, symmetry planes. None, X, Y, X, Z, Y, Z. Now to use these, basically what you do is, so we choose X, Y, and then you want to click on the center of where you want it to be. Okay, so we now have a symmetry line running straight down the center here. So if I put a line of blocks on this side here, another line of blocks will appear on that side when I place them. So it just makes things easy to get things organized in, like, so that they're perfectly symmetrical. Also saves you time as well from doing that. Alright, XZ, let's have a look at that one. So once again, you want it up, XZ, click where you want it to be. So this is on this plane here. So anything I place above it will be placed below it as well. It's a bit hard to show that here. Let's see, probably. It won't have placed one below it there because it just simply doesn't have the room to put it. Okay, so let's go to our... So if I place one on top here, one will appear below that block as well. There we go. So we'll just get rid of that. Now I'd have to admit I'm guilty of not using these symmetry tools nearly as much as I probably should. But that's mainly because I do a lot of these builds with not a lot of planning in advance. I have an idea what I want them to be, or what I think they're going to look like at the end, but the actual build itself is very much on the fly. So, and there's one issue that I have with these symmetry tools, and I'll get to that in just a moment. So last one, we will just have a look at that. So that one is just the same as the, like, if I place a block on this side, one will appear on the other side. There we go. So that's your symmetry tools. Can make your life a lot easier when you, especially if you're building big things and you want it to look the same on both sides. So good for balancing probably small vessels or capital vessels and things like that, where you want them to maybe be symmetrical on each side. As I say, it can save you some time. Now, the issue is, the big drawback with them, which I have, because I'm doing it freehand, and it's something you need to remember while you're using these tools. Let's see if I'm going to place one here. So we've got this symmetry tool here. We've placed a block down, we've got a block there, but I've decided they're not in the right spot. So if I remove that one, it doesn't remove the other one. You have to manually then go and remove that one as well. Because what will happen is, say I decided, let's just put those ones down again. Okay. Okay, so I've placed those down. I've decided that it actually wasn't those blocks that I wanted there. I wanted instead a cylinder. Well, the problem is that I can place a cylinder down, and bearing in mind that if this is a really large build, I might be way on the other side. I can't see what's happening on the other side. This is just for example. But you'll see it can't place the cylinder in that location because there's already a block there. So this is a pretty simple example, but there might be cases where you might have placed down a whole lot of blocks, and then you go, you know what, that's not right. Like, I made an error somewhere in it, and I need to drag it all back and start again, or something like that. Well, in that case, you're going to have to manually go and delete it on both sides, or deconstruct it on both sides, before you start rebuilding it. So just bear that in mind if you are using these. Alright, so that's our symmetry planes. We can turn that off. So, and structural integrity. Oxygen. Oxygen will show in a building when it's got oxygen in it. Now, I can't actually show that at the moment. It shows you what blocks have oxygen in them, and when I'm talking about blocks, I'm not talking necessarily about building blocks here. If you think of this building block, but you think the space inside the room here is made up of blocks of that size, it's just that they're empty at this time. If I had a ventilator in here and it was turned on, and I had oxygen, and I ticked show oxygen, each one of those would contain an oxygen symbol to show me that they all had oxygen. And that's important on the other planets, or most of the other planets, because of the fact they don't have a breathable atmosphere. And so if you're wanting to not have to wear your helmet all the time, you need to make sure that you have enough oxygen and the place is well ventilated. And that's how you can tell, basically, if everything's getting covered by the ventilator. I don't even think I've got a ventilator. Just have a quick look. The reason being, I could show you what it looked like if I have a ventilator, but no. Have I unlocked the ventilator? We're building the blocks. I have unlocked the ventilator. We are building those blocks. Let's just get rid of that. Alright. We'll make a ventilator, and then I'll be able to show you what that looks like. Let's just add those small blocks in again. Okay. So that's only got a few moments left to build those other ones. Now the other one is show airtight blocks. And this does a similar kind of thing. It'll show you which blocks are airtight and which ones aren't. So you see here, it's indicating here that door is airtight. And these blocks, I'm assuming it's doing that because we're outside and there's a breathable atmosphere. But it will show you which ones, and that's important if for some reason you can't work out why an area isn't ventilated properly, then that's useful for checking out maybe where leaks are happening or where it's not sealed. So we'll get rid of that. How are we going in here? That should be just about done. Yep, there's it. Not quite. Come on. Alright, so we've got plenty of blocks to play with. More blocks. Some spoiled food there. Not too worried about that. We will get to use that. Alright, so here's our ventilator. And probably what we should do, if we're going to do this, is we will just put that block back in for the moment. So this is airtight now. Alright. Ventilator. So this is what the ventilator looks like. A block like that. Has these openings on all sides. So if I'm wanting to ventilate this room, and say if we're on another planet and I needed to ventilate these rooms, if this is going to be the entrance and then I'm going to have the main building behind it here, I only need one of these ventilators and I can place it in a wall. So basically, because it will spit out oxygen on each side. Now we do need to turn that on. So we need to press P. Here, oxygen, turn it on. And you'll notice it's now spinning. It's also lit up. But now if we go to show oxygen, these are the icons I was talking about. So, well, the symbols. It's telling us which blocks have oxygen in them. So, if you're having an issue with it, turn that on, just check the room. See if there's any deficiencies anywhere. So that's what that does. So that's basically your N. Let's see what it shows with the airtight blocks now. Still only showing that one. That's the airtight block there. There are some doors that aren't airtight, so I believe. So I don't really use them, but alright. So we can get rid of this now. We don't need to keep that with us. We will need one at some, or we'll need more than one at some stage. When it comes to building capital vessels and things like that. You don't have to ventilate things. This is a new feature, so you don't have to ventilate. You can just, when you're in those environments, you can just carry on using your helmet. As long as you've got an oxygen station or an oxygen supply to be able to fill that up. Alright, so first thing, I just want to put the floor in here. So X, Y, there we go. And then let's just stand here. 5. Now, someone else also commented in the commented on one of the videos that I don't use the control key much when I'm placing things down, and quite agree. It's something that I got out the habit of doing because I found it a little bit hard to control in previous alphas, in some of the early alphas, and I just never got back to trying to use it. But for sake of completeness, so I've got this area, these areas here. This is going to be basically a floor, so I need to fill it out, and I want to fill this entire block. So what I can do is hold down Control, and just fill that out. And because I got the symmetry on, that fills that out like that. Do the same here. You can go in either direction, so I could build up walls and things like that way. So just like that. Just saves you from... The other way of doing it would be to sort of... We come over here. Would be to hold down your left and just scroll. But that's more time consuming. That's, to be honest, that's the way I've normally been doing it. But I have to admit, you know, the control key definitely does make things easier. Alright, let's get rid of that block again. 1, 2, 3. That one. Alright, now I did get rid of that middle one, didn't I? So, but this, I know that's the middle line. So that's where I had that placed. So, what I want is... That's the middle. Okay, good. Well, that's going to be important because basically what I want is an elevator right in the middle going up. And then basically we're going to build this one up, move some stuff into it, and then we're going to build up and we're going to have an area up the top there which is going to be more of a habitation food area. So, okay, let's get to maybe putting some walls up. So that can go there. Just what I'm going to do is I'm just going to maybe build out on a, just build a frame, like a frame at the moment. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, and I reckon that one can be the roof. That. Now this is where we need to be careful because 1, 2, 3, and what I'll do is I'll bring that up because we need to be careful of structural integrity if we're doing it like this. If we're just building it up from the ground up, not an issue. It's just simply not going to be an issue. So then this one comes up to there, across there, and across there. Okay, good eye. Now at this point I am going to get rid of the symmetry plane. The reason being I don't want this side to be exactly the same as this side. So, but I can use the control key. So we want that in there. Now we're going to have an issue here with our guns, but that's okay. We can move them. And we want... yeah, that can go like that. This one needs to come out. And in fact, that needs to come out. Okay. So it's going to look pretty angular and square at the moment, but we will work on that. This side here, put that in. This side there, put that in. That. Like that. Alright. Now of course the issue we're going to have is not being able to get out. So So what I'm going to do is just down here, just break a block out for the moment, just so we got a way out. Otherwise we're going to be inside this thing. We'll be able to get out. Now, question is, can I put all of this in without structural integrity being an issue? Yes. Good. Alright. So we've got our basics. We've got our basis of a room there. Now, next thing we need to do before we do anything else is we need to move those. They're not going to be too much of an issue from drone attacks coming from the base, like the actual small drone attack, small base attack drones, because they're coming from this direction, from where that new marker is. They're coming from there. But should we have anything come from any other direction, it's going to be a bit of an issue. So I'm just going to place on there. And you know what? We'll put one there as well. That should be enough. That's alright for the moment. Okay. Next thing I want to do is I want to take out the corners. Except for the bottom one. And the reason being that I actually want to round these ones off. I don't want them to be square. That can be square down there, and there is a reason for that, which we will get to. And then I want to round off the top as well. Might as well go down here as well. Right, go there. Square you off. And basically I just want it to be more rounded, just from an aesthetic point of view. Yeah, some things can be angled. Some things I prefer not to be angled. Okay, good. Alright. That was that one. And those. No, doesn't matter. I'm going to be picking that one up anyway. Reload, multi-tool, go. Alright, starting to lose contact at that point, but that's okay. So we get a bit of noise here where it says, "Oh, you're starting to lose me." The drone's not happy. That's alright, we'll just drag that one over there. We should be close enough to be able to do most of it. There we go. Yep. Put the corner in that one. Just round off these corners. Round off this corner. I need to add another one there. Okay. And round off that corner. Okay. We'll round off that corner while we've got that block selected. And then we just need to bring that across. Alright, good. Right. Now, reason I've left these ones square down the bottom is because what I'm going to do is I want to put some edging around it. Like so. Like that. Eventually we'll be able to do it at the front here as well. Effectively what we want, or what I want, is I want this lip all the way around. Now, because I've picked up the turrets, I would imagine what's happened there, if we go to devices now, cannon turret, it resets a lot of this, it resets this configuration. So, I want to shoot aliens, don't want to shoot at predators. There we go, that should do. Alright. So yeah, so just be wary of that, once you pick them up and put them back down, you've got to make sure you go and reset those. We want this around here. Let's turn our light on for a minute. And we'll bring that one out to there. Now I do need a bit of food. All these going pre-harvest. Alright, we've got plenty of food in here. So, how are you going? It's going alright. Let's line ourselves up with some portable work lights as well. Let's maybe do 10 of those. Just so I can stick some lights out and about out here. It's starting to get dark out here now. But it's going to be a little while before I have those. Alright. So that's the main part of the building done. And then around the edges here, what I want to do is I want to actually use these ramp blocks. This isn't structurally for anything, it's just more for try and get the thing looking half decent. Which, I don't know, you guys can be the judge of that. It may look like crap by the end of it, but... And that's where these things here are just sort of placeholders to give me an idea. Doesn't necessarily mean they'll be in exactly that position. Because I may have to alter some of the positions due to how, you know, the widths of other builds and when I'm adding in these extra bits. Okay, now this corner here, we need to put in one of those so that we can continue on with those. And that one round, go there. Then I want to put a corner in here. On the side here. Corner in there. Corner there. Okay, so this side needs to be the same, so we need to... And I could have used the symmetry tool for this, I suppose. As I said, sometimes a little bit wary using it, just to... because if I make a mistake, it just takes that much longer to fix it. Ah! Like that. There we go. Okay. Now, probably on the sides here, what I then want to do is there, there, probably from here. And we want there. Like that. Something like that. Just to give the appearance of a solid structure or something. Right, so it would have been there. Let's just put the one on this side. There. Alright, and then we can, actually let's just break that one out now. There. So, and then we'll break that one out. Okay, last thing we want to do with those, break that one out, break that one out. Because we're going to want to have access all the way around. Alright. Now, next thing we can do is start rounding this one off. This might just be the last bit that we do today. Flip it. That. Now, this corner here, the issue we're going to have is if we place that there, it's not going to be sealed. So, what we're going to do here, we'll work that out in a moment. There will be a joiner there somewhere, I'm sure of it. Okay. We do there. not the one, is it? No. We have got that one. That will seal it, but it'll just make it look a bit weird. That's okay. What we're going to need to do, I think, is the only way really getting around that is we're going to have to put that one in. And the issue comes about on the inside here. And it's because I've left it like that. So, what we can do on the inside here is, I'm going to drop that down. I'm going to need to drop that one down as well. And perhaps, just to even it up a bit, put it like that. We can shape that a little bit afterwards. But that just enables us to make sure it remains sealed. Okay, so what we got here? Right, well, we don't need that one there. And we just want these ones, spin it around. There. And pop a corner in. Okay. Now we could do some stuff in here like put some put the concave one in or something like that, just to make round that out. Not that bothered by that, to be honest. Okay. Let's head indoors. We're going here. Alright, we've got a few lights there. Let's pop a few lights around just so we can see what we're doing. So, put one there. Doesn't add a huge amount of light, but it'll be enough. Hello, treacherous people. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Don't growl at me. Working with the drones. Alright, we'll stick one over here. One in the middle here. There we go. That'll do. That gives us just a little bit of light. A little bit more light, I should say. Alright, so that should have finished all those. The other thing we want to do is probably make some of those. I'm just going to make a few just so I can show you. Now we're going to need a few of these because the idea between the buildings is they're going to be connected with walkways. So with a raised walkway. Instead of using blocks all the way through. But that's down the track. Alright, we got 12 of them. That's probably enough for now. Just to see how it looks. Alright, so the idea of this will be if we right click, if we choose those, right click on it, and we want just the railings. Now that one is probably going to have to be a no, that one can still stay like that for the moment. Spin it around. No empty space. Oh, because I'm standing in it, that's why. There we go. Put that one there. This one here is going to need to be one of these corner ones. Now just bear in mind, because it is a block building system, when we're placing these down, this means that this rail occupies this entire space, so we're not going to be able to place anything else here. So any lighting and things like that is going to have to be placed around the place. Go there. Put that there just for the sake of consistency. And then we want that one. Put that one in. Is that the right way, or is that the right way? I think that's the right way. Is it the right way? Yep, that's fine. Alright, so this is the idea that basically we then have this railing going all the way around. So we can place a few lights up here. We'd probably put a corner light in there. Have we got any lights? Don't know if we got any lights left. Don't think I made any, did I? Oh yeah, there we go. Let's stick a corner light in there. See what that looks like. That one? Yeah, like that. There we go. What are you doing out here? Yep. So something like that. Obviously we'll be texturing and colouring and things like that, but that's the idea. So I think what I'll do is I'll call the episode here and I will continue on just filling out some of that. Next episode we need to start moving stuff, I think, inside. But also one of the other things that we need to start looking at, or we want to get up and running fairly quickly, or fairly early, is we want to get at least one of the greenhouses up so that we can expand our growing so we can make more food. So still waiting for the tomatoes. Of course we've got no room in here now, have we? Let's eat the ham. And the space fries. There we go. Alright. So, hope you've enjoyed what you've watched. If you have, please leave a like and subscribe. Look forward to seeing you all next time. I'm Raid0AU, signing out.